Hey everyone! I made a card today that I just had to share with you by video because it takes a few steps to get through it, but it's so cute that it deserves to be shown. This one is made with the Oh So Succulent stamp set. This is one out of our Occasions Catalogue. And what I love about it is, first of all, it's right on trend with all of the succulents. And it is a two-step stamp. So you can see the images overlap with each other so that you can have a coloring effect on it. The technique I'm going to show you today is one that I call a two-step watercoloring. And that's how I got the effect of this card here. So let me show you how I did that. First of all, you're going to need some watercolor paper. We sell this at Stampin' Up. And we're going to use the watercolor pencil crayons. It comes in a set like this, and that's the Bold Bright collection. This here is Bermuda Bay, so I'm just going to scribble some color onto my watercolor paper, and then I'm going to add some brown at the bottom. I used an aqua painter and just squeeze the water so you get it nice and wet, and we're going to blend the color. So just add a little bit to the top. I'm going to wipe off the brush so that it's clean, and then I'm going to add some to the bottom to make the brown. You'll want to set this aside to dry, or if you have a heat tool at home, you can use the heat tool to dry it. So I actually have one that's already dry, so I'm going to grab that and show you. Let me just wipe the water away. So this one's already dry. So that's the first step in the process, is to create the watercolor background. The next step in the process is to stamp. I'm not going to do the whole collection here because there's actually quite a few steps, but I just wanted to show you how to color it. So I'm just going to do this focal point one here. I used Memento as my ink. I like to use Memento with my photopolymer because it doesn't stain my stamps. So I'm going to ink up the first of the two steps, and that is the outline. So I'll stamp right over top of the watercoloring that we did before. And then the second step is to use your classic ink to do the two-step. So this is with the more solid of the images, and you're just going to ink that up. And the trickiest part is to try and line it up. I try usually to find one that has a double, and then you can see a little better. What do you think? No. There. So now we have our two-step. So the third step in the collection is we're going to watercolor over top. So that's why I call it a two-step watercolor. So I am going to use some purple because we're going to add in the tips. And I'm just going to draw little V's on the top of our succulent here with our watercolor. It doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to follow it up with some blending here in a moment. The center can kind of be a little darker. Okay, and now use a blender pen. So these are double tipped. They're clean until you put them into some pigment like the purple watercolor pencil here. And so you're just going to blend the edges in so that you get that look of, you know how succulents have that almost sunburnt look on the tips sometimes? I don't live in the desert, so there's probably a name for that. If you live in the desert, you'd know. So see how it just fills it in and makes it look a lot more real? When you're done with the blender pen, you just scribble it clean until there is no more pigment left. And then the last step that I did to really make it look real is I used a gel pen. And so with the gel pen, I just kind of filled in some highlights. Just like that. And there you go. That's how you get the two-step watercolor look. Doesn't it look real? I just think that's an amazing effect. So I'll show you the card one more time, and then you do the same thing for each one of those. I used some different colors along the way. I used mint macaron for this and then filled it in with the Bermuda Bay. This one I used Old Olive. And then I just filled in the background. You can see how I've highlighted the outside of that. I'll show you how I did that. Just take your Bermuda Bay pencil and go around the outline. And your blender pen is your best friend on this card. So then you can take that blender pen and just wipe away the edges so it's a little bit softer, but it makes it really pop. See that? Yeah, there you go. I'll show you one other card that I did. It's this one here. So same kind of effect. I used the basket framelits to cut out the pot, and then I just layered it using the Live, Love, Grow stamp set out of the annual catalog. So you can see that there. So I hope you enjoyed that new technique, and I'd love to see what you come up with it. Thanks for watching.